The idea of innovative European entrepreneurship is an evergreen on European summits since a decade, for many different reasons. But what makes our project different from the others? For us, all the shifts inside and outside the enterprises, initiated by the information and communication technologies, and later on by the Web 2.0, are also added value for cross-cultural intelligence. Business today is global. That means locally present and globally connected, even if you are not outsourcing your services, even if you are not buying or selling your products on foreign markets. Your activities are in a certain way connected to the global flow of finances, resources and ideas. The 21st century entrepreneur, wherever he starts and wherever he wants to go, has to think globally because good ideas are everywhere. Cross-cultural intelligence, the new digital skills and viral thinking are thus exactly the competencies 2.1. That means the material capital of a successful entrepreneur today. In fact, Europe has many assets. A good infrastructure, a single currency and a single market. No religious or cultural divides complicating any sustainable interaction. And even an European administration and frequent summits. Europeans are so near, and their intercultural multitude could be a tremendous competitive advantage. This was the sense of the European Lisbon Summit in the year 2000, dedicated to the entrepreneurship of the 21st century. Since 2008, Europe has to face financial, economic and political challenges. But anyway, Europe remains an aggregation of 27 countries, where decentralized interaction, cross-border cooperation and the swarm intelligence could work in Europe too. But European entrepreneurship remains a letter of intent, an intention, not a joint venture. Europe has 43,000 big European companies, which are real global players with a perfect international management, international brands and a worldwide activity. They are the global players of Europe, with thousands of co-workers all over the world, international management and cross-cultural implementations. These European global businesses are outsourcing since many years their activities out of Europe in the new emerging markets, because there are their customers and there will be their future. Their branding and their corporate identity might remain in Europe, but their benefits are made on other continents. On the other side, there are over 22 million of small and medium enterprises. They are providing 2 out of 3 of the private sector jobs and contribute to more than half of the total added value created by businesses in the European Union. But The Economist calls them les misérables, victims of the upcoming economic shifts. Curiosity is just another word for an open mind. But are the European enterprises really curious to know what's going on next to their doors? They are facing the same problems, the same markets, they have the same needs, and open innovation would be a great pacemaker. Curiosity, the European Union could be a great melting pot of inventivity and design thinking, enhanced by cultural diversity. But to work together, European enterprises have to be willing and to be able to communicate and to connect their ideas. It sounds naive, but nobody has to reinvent the wheel. Very often it needs just a little kick to relaunch a project. Why do we have so many European startup incubators in Berlin, Amsterdam, Brussels, Budapest, London, attracting entrepreneurial spirit from over the world, but without any radiance? In the era of Internet and Web 2.0, This is no longer a technical problem. Visual thinking and virtual collaboration are the game changers for any business 2.0. Whether you create it from the scratch or whether you adapt it to today's requirements. What's the importance of visual thinking? It's the capacity to visualize your business idea, to put all your complex brainstorming into a simple image. Steve Jobs did it. If you want to convince and convert future investors, partners and co-workers and customers, keep it short and simple and visualize. Sometimes it's not so easy, but vital in any cross-cultural communication. And the importance of virtual collaboration. Virtual and decentralized workspaces are on the rise because they enable entrepreneurs to work together in cluster, to mine the collective skills and knowledges. Small businesses and particularly young entrepreneurs have to implement new technologies because they have to face capital and often local human resource shortages. And the swarm intelligence could work in Europe too. The Nordic think tank published this study in 2006. For this decade, what's the message? Let's keep it short and simple. The economic shifts are accelerating. The internet revolution facilitates simultaneous transactions, a worldwide data, information and knowledge flow. People have to adapt to this new high-frequency change process. They have to stay inside the flow. They have to know how to surf on the waves. And therefore they need new skills, new know-how, enabling them to take advantage of the third industrial revolution, defined by Jeremy Rifkin. The third industrial revolution concerns European entrepreneurs too, because small and medium enterprises will to be performant. They will have to update all their know-how and skills in order to develop new ideas, products and services. And they have to integrate the new future work skills, the competencies 2.1. Particularly small businesses will need highly qualified co-workers with exceptional soft skills and the willing to keep on learning by doing. For European entrepreneurs and startups, the future competencies represent a double challenge. Who are the millennials? You, of course. Born somewhere in the late 80s, between the first Microsoft PC and Mac, just at the moment when the internet revolution took off and the communist economies crashed down in Europe and thousands of people danced on the Berlin Wall. The millennials are now the next generation of entrepreneurs and startups. The European millennials have the facilities to recreate and to adapt their economic environment. They are living in peace, are well educated and don't have to fear persecution and war. The only shadow on their future, high youth and unemployment in Europe, because European enterprises are no longer job creators. Either young Europeans immigrate if they are qualified enough, or they create their future jobs now, locally. Things are becoming quite complex for European entrepreneurs, whether they are in the starting blocks or already involved in their daily business struggle. No time for creativity, innovative ideas, products or services fitting the future customer needs. The Internet revolution brought new technologies at any level. During the Internet revolution emerged the millennial culture. Millennials are used to human interactivity. They have grown up with a permanently evolving software and hardware. The social networks initiated by 2005 is their teenage environment. The most clever among them know that social networking is a perfect way to create a business. Why does it become so important for European SMBs to develop cross-cultural skills and joint ventures? Because first of all, polyglots have the edge, and the innovation kicks are always coming from the cross-cultural melting pot. Intelligent entrepreneurs and managers develop contacts abroad involving intercultural diversity, which is a real aggregator of ideas and innovation. All the successful innovations in the last centuries, if you take the bicycle, the car, the success story of companies like Siemens or Volkswagen are a mashup of ideas and innovations collected abroad, which they transformed into performing products thanks to their know-how and their skills. The European educational system doesn't prepare the millennials for the upcoming challenges. They are neither honing intercultural skills nor providing the competencies 2.1 for polyglot global workers. Their degrees, diplomas, certificates, whatever they may contain, are more important than innovation for them. But Steve Jobs, Bill Gates are just dropouts, as many start-uppers of the new economy. European universities are talking about innovation. They are talking about entrepreneurship and are creating incubators and doing often their best, but didn't yet realize any Silicon Valley. Silicon Valley generated the Internet revolution, the open source spirit, Creative Commons, and the performant softened hardware enabling billions of people to connect and to communicate simultaneously for free. They just need an internet connection. Social networks, online platforms, new business models emerged in Silicon Valley. The developers of Silicon Valley enabled the 21st knowledge society, which requires the Future Work Skills 2020 listed by the Pollen Research Institute last year. In one sentence, the 21st knowledge society requires knowledge workers able to provide all these skills. The factory of the future will focus on frugal innovation and mass customization, smart grid, and may look more like those weavers' cottages than Ford's assembly line. The digital design can be tweaked with a few mouse clicks. The 3D printer can run unintended and can make many things which are too complex for a traditional factory to handle. In time, these amazing machines may be able to make almost anything, anywhere, from your garage to an African village. These are the new challenges for European entrepreneurs. First, they need an idea. Then all the new skills to visualize it, to create perhaps a 3D prototype, and in a third step, the viral thinking to promote it. That makes a lot of new competencies in real time, just in time, the new entrepreneurship has to provide. That's why cross-cultural knowledge transfer, values and experiences, the joint venture platform, collecting knowledge and creating networks should be a very good idea. These melting pots could provide immediate and easy access to the best talents from each of the European countries, enabling them to build a world-class team with a strong global approach. That's a framework for 2020, published by the European Commission in order to face the economic emergency. But the Kaufmann Foundation, which promotes entrepreneurship around the world, argues convincingly that one reason America has outstripped Europe in providing new jobs is its ability to produce new, fast-growing companies such as Amazon or the Business 2.0 mode, requiring all the digital skills and viral entrepreneurial spirit that has not really arrived in Europe. And in terms of jobs, new small firms have an added advantage. They are less likely than existing giants to outsource a lot of their labor to cheap providers in Asia, in Africa or elsewhere. Maybe this graphic will help you to understand the so-called paradigm shift inside and outside the enterprises. Open innovation is one of the new ingredients. The permanent need of new knowledge input is another one. Have these new interactions in mind when you set up your business. Start with awareness as global worker or entrepreneur 2.1. your capacity to open your eyes and ears, to look what's going on in the global market, where the good ideas come from, and be able to listen to your customers. This will be part of your own success story. Awareness. This sounds like a tourism. If you want to become a global worker or an entrepreneur, creating locally your business, you should take advantage of all the communities of interest, knowledge, of customers and suppliers. Create your community, your own community, and take care of it. That's the beginning of professional social networking, which starts with your Identity 2.0, the way you understand and integrate the web into your business. The Internet revolution has changed the way people connect and communicate outside and inside your enterprise, and many global players have already integrated the Communication 2.0 into their communication information environment. Too many European small and medium businesses are still in standby for many reasons, but young European entrepreneurs like you have to think and have to build the new way to create added value. There is no hierarchy anymore. You have to do it simultaneously. Community building, networking, content creating. This is perhaps the most difficult thing. You will have to prove every day that you know how to think visual, how to create new content for the web. And new content is the only currency of the social web. You have to deliver content to your customers. Big global companies are creating contests, inviting their customers to participate at their innovation process. Learn from them. It's all visual thinking at work. User-generated content is one of the most interesting things of crowdsourcing. How and where do you generate user content? Connect to the communities. There are thousands of communities. Nearly every daily product or interest has its own community. Or just create some alerts. Go on the web and read and listen what they say and are talking about. You can also call for participation. Many customers like to be involved. They appreciate to be asked and to give their opinion. Create a contest and reward the best idea. It doesn't have to be a Mercedes, just a little thank you. Crowdsourcing is part of this new way to capture good ideas and to involve people in your business. People who would like to contribute by communicating their ideas, suggestions, knowledge. They can even contribute by backing your business idea by funding or facilitate the open innovation process. It's based on the idea of swarm intelligence or the wisdom of the crowds. Or let's just take an image. Did you ever observe how ants are performing a difficult task? You can find the result of many online platforms like eHow, Wikimedia or many others. Collaboration and open innovation inside and outside the company with the new communication tools like Wiki, online platform, require trust. Collaboration, communication, awareness are the great facilitators of open innovation. Open innovation? What are closed innovation processes? Of course, closed innovation has been the principle of states, universities and enterprises. Since a decade, many global companies realized the shift from closed to open innovation, like Philips and Dell. Copycats are everywhere. You can't avoid them. But if you are inside an open innovation process, you could always be one step ahead of your competitors. Open innovation may avoid you to find out that your product or your service don't fit to what the customers are expecting. On the other hand, if you can prove the relevance of your business idea, that this idea meets exactly what the customers are expecting, it could be a very good argument if you are discussing with some investors. But be aware, open innovation is an efficient idea generator only if you put all the different social media chips into the game. And don't forget that polyglots and a cross-cultural intelligence have the edge, enabling you to multiply your fishing grounds. Open innovation is added value for your products, your business, and the development of your activities. It's also permanent knowledge input you will have to store and to curate. An intelligent knowledge management, easily accessible and usable at any moment, becomes the immaterial capital of your new business. Perhaps as important as the intellectual property of your processes, your ideas, or your products. Therefore, European entrepreneurs will have to restructure this part of their business. Think different was the Apple slogan in 1997 and is often considered as the business model of Steve Jobs. We already talked about this new web thinking. But just visualize a cobweb with a spider either in the middle or outside of the web, having always anything under control, always ready to extend the work. Your business model should look like this. We brought this cobwebbing down to another scale. It starts with the awareness, the idea hunting or scouting. Don't try to be a copycat, but try to find out what could work for you. We are all sitting on the shoulders of other people and walking in their footsteps. Trust the crowdsourcing process, the open innovation. See if your idea or product couldn't be improved by the ideas of externals. Perhaps they get much more usability. And then finally, set up your marketing strategy with all the feedbacks you got from the communities. Frugal innovation and mass customization are just two of the new directions. Markets and customers are changing. They are adapting to their economic background. If you are aware of what's going on in European countries, and if you understand where are the needs of the 80% of the future consumers in Europe, in Africa and in India, you have to look what kind of products and services the frugal innovation or mass customization are creating. What's the future of European entrepreneurs facing the Web 2.0 connected world? Where's the problem? If you look at the last decades, the smartest business models are all web-based innovations, connecting the web tools to an idea, transforming the ICT facilities to a service, enabling products, people and services to flow and to spread. The Chinese entrepreneurs have the money, the Brazilians have the resources, the Indians the soft power, and the European entrepreneurs, what do they have? A rich past, a single market, 20 different languages, 27 countries, 190 different regions, mutual distrust, silo thinking, misunderstanding of virality, and some fear of digital co-working. Anglo-American startups seems to have no problem to connect and to communicate wherever they are, to find venture capital, generate crowdsourcing, crowdfunding, to join their assets in an open innovation cluster like Silicon Valley, but in Europe. If you start up your business in Europe, you will have to explore the world in order to improve, to test and to promote your idea. Then ask for help to write your business plan. Go to the market where the customers and the competitors are. Don't wait for any help from the banks, the institutional money spreaders. Do it yourself, but stay integrated in the crowd. That's socialnomics. It concerns you.